Hello and welcome to day 66 of 365 days towards racial change. My name is Tomlins Nyback, and we're going to get right into talking about media today in our political action steps running up to the 2020 presidential election, and things are starting to heat up. People are announcing their candidacy and such. Every once in a while, it'd probably be good for black folks to see what they can do in their own small way to impact some change for black folks on this landscape. We've got a female this year identifying kind of with Black America. We'll see how far that goes. Uh, Married gay man, a lot of the demographics are really all over the map. It's not just a bunch of powerful white men going for that position. So here at this forum, I'm thinking along the lines of two main issues. The first issue has two parts. One is the black mental conditioning still being perpetuated from generation to generation from slavery? And is the white position of entitlement, power, privilege still being perpetuated from generation to generation? Do those mindsets still prevail? Or are we still living in that? Even though there's legislation, we have written laws, I can come and go relatively as I please. But am I still confined? Am I really living freely in America? So we will explore that. And the second part is I want blacks to understand how the dollar works in America, understand America, make it more in light of understanding America as a corporation, as a business entity in an international market. And other countries are businesses, not collection of people with similar ideologies and moral leanings and adherence, but more we're employees and part owners in America as a corporation. Our president is the CEO, beholden to a board, things like that. That putting our understanding in that realm, I think, will help us out a whole lot. So I'm informed. This caught fire with me from hearing a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. You can find him here on YouTube. He's all over the place. He still speaks around the country. I read 3 of his works. First work is A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. Second book was Black Labor and White Wealth, Search for Power and Economic Justice. Our present series, as we're coming out of his book, Powernomics, National Plan to Empower Black America, with our focus on political issues here. And also, we take a fictional look at slave life, black life in America. This book should still be required reading in school to get people to understand this dynamic, these problems, issues that I'm raising here. Also behind me, you'll find hashtag us too, this community. Black women here with their issues, being black and female. There's black and male and all that. But be black first, I say. Identify there in its many ways and representations. It's not easy. Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, is another forum. It's kind of a black Facebook. I'm sure there's a lot of black forums and places. Dr. Anderson's site, powernomics.com. He's also involved with the Heritage Institute. If you're interested in black business, entrepreneurship, empowerment, there's the Black Business School.com. You can find Dr. Boyce Watkins there and a great staff, great people over there encouraging black entrepreneurship, stuff like that. I don't interact. I don't like subscriptions and stuff. I don't like entanglements of that nature. So, but he's got a lot of good products and services there. Check him out. Okay. Today, day 66, we're looking at Dr. Anderson's step 5 about our political action steps. And this is more, today is more of a piece. It's empowerment and communication situated in the whole landscape uh, of issues and devices out there to distract us and take our attention. He's trying to get us to think about focusing and centering our attention into a specific space so we can be more potent and articulate. Yesterday we talked about data collection and having how that would impact research and get us knowledgeable about specific ways in which to help Black Americans and communities and politicians that are interested in securing and helping Black Americans. Today, more focus on what one of those components would look like as far as a centralized publication, a national radio station or whatnot. Many groups, other minority groups, already have a lot of this kind of thing going on for them. And with Black folks, we need to get more on board with that. We're going to get to BET in a minute. I'm not really fond of that station and that platform. Got a lot of potential, but I got some very issues with that. We'll talk about that in a moment. So we got plenty of resources. We just need to focus where we're going and what we want to do. I realize I'm even part of that problem by presenting you with this every day in my little 1-year campaign here of brief notes and a video, like that. Granted, it's my personal project. Thank you for following along, but I realize that that's just another thing to navigate when so many other, I think, better resources are vying for your attention. So I'm not naive on that point. So Dr. Anderson, he says, let's specify whatever the audience is. Now, it's a Black audience, but the issues need to be more specific to whatever those needs are. And that's pretty tough with people having so many of their own interests and agendas and things like that, to get folks to stop and really consider and think about what it is they want, what they're doing, is problematic. So it's hard to specify the audience and then keep a focused agenda presented to them. Even here, my subject for this year, we're all over the place about Black issues. We come from slavery, present times, economy, vertical integration, ethno aggregation, communities, information, gathering information, politics, reparations. There's just so much going on. So that's hard to specify and then focus. But those are going to be some necessary components of this political plan to get some national, either in print or through internet, television, whatever, to get Blacks supporting Blacks and things like that. Something focused in that direction. Now, he already notes, and we already know the Spanish they've got their radio stations. They're starting to plant a lot of seeds. They have 3 or 4 television stations, Spanish-speaking stations that are really gaining a lot of momentum and traction. They don't mind overdubbed movies. That's up there with subtitles with me. Like, even if I understood the language, I don't want to see an overdubbed movie. Okay, but I get their point. They got the infrastructure's there. Just do some voiceovers. Very economical too. Probably easy to get. Um, well, I guess that's not a lot. I watch a lot of Chinese or the martial arts flicks. So okay, I'm guilty of it. You got me on that. We have one television station, that potentially had potential power uh, to be a focal point of black issues, uh, things like that. But again, it was another successful, burgeoning, rising, successful black enterprise that sold out to white interest. And so now it's all over the map. I'm talking about BET, Black Entertainment Television. And, I'm scrolling, I'll check in there once in a while, but rarely do they have anything of substance. They don't have issues. They're not talking about black issues. They got a lot of black drama. They always want to make you laugh with Tyler Perry, Martin, or I'll have some original series about some dysfunctional black church with murder and money and drugs. You know, and there's they'll have our Sunday religious because us black folks are so religious, so they'll have a black religious show on there. I don't even think they carry TD Jakes on there, which is surprising. I scroll through, I don't see much TD Jakes there. I think I see Creflo Dollar there on there, but you know what I mean. It's non-threatening to white folks. That's their programming on BET. So if we can get our black folks to stop selling our stuff and get focused and stay on point with our message, our needs, then that would be a big some big milestones in the black problem in the United States. So BET doesn't. Uh, it's black entertainment television. That's what it is. Entertainment. You it's not a serious. It's not where I've seen any serious black issues presented. I think it could be. I mean, that's what the black folks are watching. Let's present some issues. We complain. We have Dr. Anderson and Dr. Boyce Watkins, and we have these groups and organizations saying they're trying to get a black thing going, but we sell out as soon as the money looks right to us. So we got to work on our values as a community over that. So you got the Hispanics radio, Hispanic television, uh, things of that nature, all over the place. Um, so one of the things that happens though towards the end of Dr. Anderson's piece on this political action step number 5 about a daily publication, and the daily publication, think about it. If you saw the Malcolm X movie with Denzel Washington, he's there at a diner or whatever, and there's some Farrakhan on the radio. Many there's a lot of Christian organizations. Some of these, like Salvation Army, their stores, or a Goodwill maybe store, will have some Christian music playing or something, to show that, um, They want the sound. They want to control the sound in the space, and it's a kind of allegiance to the doctrine of that establishment, to have that leader speaking or that music playing. That's the idea that Dr. Anderson wants to get at. You know, to something we're going to do devotionally every day. You know, I have devotions where I look at the Word of God, and there's I have some books and guides. Sometimes I'll read just on my own. You know, some daily spiritual practice. Well, blacks need something like that socially. You know, and the purpose to improve ourselves economically uh, is the goal there. So. One thing Dr. Anderson points out, I think I've mentioned this a couple times periodically, is having a language and a culture system in place. Blacks have neither, so that's a problem. I think our point of reference can come from slavery, although that is the place from which uh, we despise the most. We don't want to be involved or that participate with that in that way on that level, and it's a problem for us to do that. Therefore, um, we shy away from the one real alternative that can make us unified, is slavery. It's not as glamorous and whatnot. I've already talked about that, you know, as a coup or a war or something like that. Um, that shows a lot of grit, but you know, we survived an experience, and instead of that being our rally point, we run away from that. Therefore, we have no clear central theme upon which to run. We're all scattered all over the place. So laughing, drama, dysfunction seems to be our best, putting our best foot forward. Even though we've got a lot of little or superstars rise up, mostly in sports um, and entertainment and all that, not known or much recognized in business, science, philosophy, some of these other circles that we excel at just as well as other groups. You know, we don't forward that agenda. Um, it's all about, you know, keeping white folks entertained on their feed and stuff like that. Be a little spoiler about Uncle Tom's Cabin. I just read a portion, you know, the white slave master. I won't go on into this. This is just an illustration, but he was startled and started to be depressed, and he'd been drinking, and his slave women aren't acting right towards him, and all this stuff. So he calls his two leading hands up to his house, the big house, to entertain him and drink and tell jokes and dance and fight and to entertain the white man because he's uh, not feeling right and stuff like that. And that seems like the best us black folks can forward here in this in America, when we've got so much more that we can bring to the table and present. More so than a president that's going to cave in to medical care companies and lobbyists to create another tax burden on us. Very disappointed in Obama for doing that. Now it's an institution, and now it's around. And I hate that it's even part of the language and stuff. But you know, black folks keep making the wrong decisions. You know, I mean, there's white oppression, there's groups competing. Um, there are a lot of people licking their lips and pushing us out of the way and moving us out of America's consciousness and all that. But so much as the black folks doing it to themselves. I'm just as guilty uh, by being in messing my life up with drugs and alcohol, being uh, tearing my life up, pulling down incredible potential over and over again, falling, uh, letting myself become a subject again to America's white domination. Every time I do that, I come under, I lose control of myself and whatnot. So I say all that, is that if we can ever agree and get some kind of daily publication or some focus, some point that the majority of black folks rally around, that would be quite a feat. you know, it's impressive just even to think about what that is going to look like to talk about it. But it's very necessary. We need to get some things going, and it has to be done collectively for the community in that way. Um, so BET had its chance. It failed. Black sports teams, even way back, some of our black national leagues and some of the other stuff, as their players got drafted into the white leagues and other interests, blacks just keep losing our power, giving away, and the dollar. I'm not. It's not much of a complaint. It's more of an affirmation that dollar is powerful. I want to relax, maybe not work as hard. You see Shaq, played his little basketball for a little bit, did the right things with his money, and now he has a lot of interest in a whole lot of big companies in that. So he's set for many lifetimes, over and over. So that's something to think about for us black folks. Um, he finishes up with talking about the internet. And so, you got internet, radio, television, you can stream, it's still internet, but like Sirius and some of these other streaming services, all this stuff, is really coming ahead of. If we should be glad we don't have the ability to perceive all of that information without some electronic device to pick that information up and translate it and bring it to us, or we'd be some hurt individuals with all of that noise and clutter going on. But it's hard enough to put down our phones, turn off the television, turn off the computer. We're losing our humanity, so to speak. So Dr. Anderson's suggestion to have some daily publication, very good, idealistic, and all that, that's going to be a fight because you're asking for the intention of a mind that's already assaulted with a whole lot of other interests. And these other interests and one thing that may help us focus is that all these other interests, or most of them, are positioning themselves to make us reach into our pockets and pull out that almighty dollar and support their agenda, and it's rarely reciprocated. They pull our dollars out of our pockets. We get some trinkets, some shiny, maybe something to make us feel good for a moment, all these fleeting things they want to give. So yeah, like how many products and services really abide without me having to make a subscription? Like, does anybody make something that I can buy one time and have some value and some use value, some longevity over time? Do we make anything like that anymore? You know, I gotta buy. I have these Chinese shoes. You know, and I bought these Chinese shoes at this level, and they didn't last that long. Now I went up another level; they lasted a little longer. Now when I make a serious purchase, maybe I need to find an expensive American shoe that damn lasts. You know, because there was a time when I could buy a shoe and it would last more than a year. You know, these shoes, you put them under a little bit of wear and tear, they're done after 2-3 months. That's not very cost effective. So today's subject, a daily centralized publication or video, radio, something that blacks can gather around. We have many, you know, there's Ebony, um, some of the big, no, or did Ebony fold up? Well, you could find black publications out there. Anyway, that's the idea, to get us thinking on the same page, you know, centralizing our information and stuff. That's a big job, big leap for minds that are already inundated and distracted here in America. But if something like that ever did come together, it would be a great aid in positioning us politically for making further steps to gather some of that wealth and resources for Black Americans here in this nation. That's day 66 out of the way. I'm Tomlin's Nyback, 365 days toward racial change. We'll see you tomorrow.